Hello and welcome back. Today I've got something completely different. This is Calligraphy ink by Ferris Wheel Press. This one is called Timeworn Treasures. It's one of their newer colors. I'll show you the box. It's got all this beautiful artwork on it. This is part of the fun of their inks, is that pretty much everything you get from them, aside from the cardboard box they ship in, is something you can keep and it looks nice. It's going to look pretty on the shelf. It's going to look pretty on your desk. So I'm always very happy with their beautiful packaging and everything. But the thing about calligraphy ink is that you cannot put it in your fountain pens. That is a newbie mistake that I am ashamed to admit that I have made. So we will talk about that another time. But look how beautiful this color is. Very antique, vintage looking. It's got these beautiful shimmers in it. So we're going to do a couple of extra things though. I'm going to try it with the stir plate and see if this is stirrable, basically. I don't know if the ink is too thick or not. We will find out. Also, this is something I ordered, and I will explain why perhaps sometime. Let me get this out of here. All right, so this is from John Neal Books. I ordered this a little while back because these are dip pen nibs. They're different from fountain pen nibs because you just dip them. And the reason, I gotta get this taken out here. The reason is because a very long time ago, I was given some dip pens and some nibs, and I couldn't figure out how to get them to work. I was really frustrated. And, you know, back when I first got them, there were no, online guides, no YouTube, there was nothing. I couldn't find any information anywhere, and I got pretty frustrated, and I thought I was doing something wrong. And I was, but it wasn't because I was using them incorrectly. It was because you have to basically prime the nibs before you can use them. You have to clean them off. They have this like coating or something on them, and if you don't clean it off first, the ink won't stick correctly to the nib and it won't flow off the nib correctly and you won't be able to write. And I didn't know that. So all that time I was using brand new nibs and trying to write and nothing was happening, and I thought I was doing something wrong. And anyways, it was a lot of drama and I gave up. So once I found this out, I tried cleaning off the nib first, and lo and behold, it worked. So I was now finally able to start using these nibs. Now this nib is very, very tiny. This is a tiny, tiny nib, but I'm going to use it because I want to. And it uses a special nib holder. So these types of pens are basically just nib holders. The nib gets pushed down in there. But this one, let's see, which one does this go into? Not that one. It must be for this one. Okay, so there we go. And it looks like that. So let me put this away. We can go over the different types of nibs maybe in another video, but that's what this is. I'm going to go clean this off and I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back and here it is. It looks the same as always. I just used alcohol, rubbing alcohol, to clean it off. There are other ways you can do it. I've heard that you can burn them with a little bit of fire, and I don't want to do that, so I just clean it off with rubbing alcohol, and that's how it's worked for me in the past. So hopefully it will work today. We shall see. These calligraphy nibs are something that are even newer to me. I'm new to fountain pens, and calligraphy I'm even newer because literally, so first of all, here's that little stir magnet. I'm going to stick that in there, put it on the stir plate, and we'll see if this works. But anyway, calligraphy ink and pens and everything is something I've only even more recently started trying and using, so we'll see how this goes. Okay, so far that is stirring up nicely. We want to get all the shimmers dispersed, well dispersed into this ink here. Move it around a little bit. Okay. We will do a normal test, and then I will test it on copy paper as well. But anyway, this is a special calligraphy holder and nib. It's a Hunt's nib. I forget what number it is, but it's written on here very tiny and I can't read it. But basically, it does a very, very, very fine line, and it's very flexible. And I thought, oh wow, this is really cool. So I wanted to show you, and then I dropped it on the floor because I had it sitting on my desk like this, and it rolled, it went pink, it landed nib side down and broke. So the holder was fine, of course, but the nib was broken. Now the nibs only cost like a couple dollars, but I had to find one, and luckily I was able to find one online. So crisis averted, kinda. All right. This is a really, really pretty antique color. It's like a sepia kind of a color. Very pretty. And of course it's got all those shimmers. Hopefully that will come through on the swatch. All right, so when you write with the when you write with a calligraphy pen, first of all, the ink dries. I believe their ink is waterproof or water resistant. I think it's waterproof. So that's part of the reason you can't put it in a fountain pen. It's going to dry up in there and clog it all up. It's also a little bit thicker, it seems, and there's other reasons why you can't just use this in a fountain pen. It's supposed to be light fast, so it shouldn't fade, or it shouldn't fade much. Yeah, waterproof, smudge resistant, durable, light fast. That's what it says on the box. Okay, so that's been stirring for a minute there. I think we got the shimmers nicely dispersed in here. Let's turn that off. And what you do is you just dip it in, and then the ink kind of clings to the bottom. Now, since this is a brand new nib, but I just washed it off, I'm hoping it's going to write. Sometimes it takes a second. There we go. It's hard to write around this camera, I tell you what. So that worked. The rubbing alcohol trick worked. And this is by Ferris Wheel Press. Let me just move this aside. Okay. Now, there's something else about this nib. So this is what it looks like so far. We got to give it a minute to dry. Let me see, how can we do this and keep everything in frame? That is a good question. Let's see if I can move this down further, because I need to be able to write. There we go. Okay. Yeah, that's showing up. So I don't know if this is going to be picked up on camera, because, let me stir this up again. Just because this nib is so tiny, I probably should have picked something else. But depending on how much pressure you put down, it gives you a wider or thinner line. And that's what I'm hoping we'll be able to show, because this nib was super, super flexible, and at least the one I was using before was. This is brand new, so let's see. Nice thin line, thicker line, thinner line. Do you see that? Thin line, thicker line, thin line, thin line, thicker line, thin line. And that's one of the reasons why with calligraphy, you can do these fancy, thin to thick lines. But with the fountain pen, most of the time, the nibs are not this flexible unless you get a special flex nib, and even then, I don't know how flexible they are. I've heard from different people that they're not this flexible, or if they are, you have to get a very old and very expensive pen, but I have zero personal experience, so do your own research. Okay, so it finally ran out of ink. Let me rinse this off before it dries off in the nib. And if it does dry off in the nib, I have found that the best way to clean it out is with a little bit of rubbing alcohol. Okay, so first of all, let me bring that closer so you can see how beautiful that ink is. It's so shimmery and so pretty, and it's just this most beautiful antique dark brown sepia. I don't know. It's so pretty. And you can see how with the dip pen, you get this wonderful line variation. Now, I don't have any real experience writing with calligraphy. You have to hold the pen at a certain angle. Most of the letters you have to do in multiple strokes, meaning you draw one part of the letter, lift the pen, and then in a different direction or whatever, you do the next part of the letter. And some letters, it takes 2 or 3 different strokes to get the letter out. And so it's very, very slow and time consuming. I just haven't had time, honestly, to sit down and practice. And when I did have time, it was very intermittent. So I'd get practicing, I'd get good at something, and then I'd have to take a break for a while, and then I'd come back to it, and I had to start all over from the beginning. But who cares about that? Because look how pretty the ink is. So you can see how beautiful this would be to paint with, or whatever, you know. And what's really nice about this is, first of all, like they said, it's smudge proof or smudge resistant and waterproof, but it has, you can feel the texture on the paper. It's like raised up, so you can feel the lines on the paper, and it's so pretty. And this is just copy paper that I used to test it on, because you don't really need to use the like Tomo River or anything to see the beautiful effect of this ink. You can use it on whatever. And I use this on cards. I'll write the person's name or even the address. Since it's waterproof, it's not going to wash off the envelope. And it's, you know, my handwriting's terrible, but it doesn't matter because it's nice, pretty, shimmery ink, and it's not going anywhere. So hopefully that gives you a little bit of introduction to calligraphy ink. You do not need to be a professional calligrapher to use this ink. You can just get it and play around with it. You can use a dip pen like these. I have tried this with a glass pen, but I found that the glass pen was a pain to clean, and the ink didn't flow off of it nicely like it does with the fountain pen ink. So I would recommend, strongly recommend, studying a little bit about how to get a dip pen to work. Either, you know, maybe I can do some more videos on this. If you're interested, let me know. We can do more videos, or just do your own research, and just, I mean, this whole pen is like $5. This whole thing, it's like so cheap, and you get this beautiful result, and without knowing anything, just drawing some lines. And the way you get the thin lines is when you do the upstrokes, you just go real light, and then you put a little bit of pressure as you go down, and light on the upstroke, and then a little bit of pressure when you go draw the line downwards, and you'll get this lovely line variation very, very quickly. So I encourage you to try this ink. They have many, many colors. They even have some that don't have shimmers, and they're all beautiful. I would get them all if I had the money, because I would love to try practicing my writing. And it's so much more fun to practice your writing when you can do it with the beautiful ink. You know, it just encourages me to try and to work at it, where, you know, if I was just using regular plain black ink, you know, I get bored of that pretty quick. But having these really pretty shimmery inks, just, it makes it so much fun to work with and practice. So yeah, I will leave a link for this down below if you want to see any more calligraphy inks, or if you want to see anything else. Oh, and you know what? I almost forgot the swatch. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here is the swatch. The little bubbles dried on there, but you can see the really, really pretty like sepia brown tones and all the beautiful golden shimmers in that. So you don't need to have perfect handwriting to have fun with calligraphy ink. So yeah, I recommend their calligraphy inks. I love them, and there's a lot of beautiful inks out there, but they have some very, very nice ones. So definitely check them out. And if you'd like to see any more videos, if you enjoyed this, click like and subscribe to see more. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all soon.